Hello there, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful work week. So one of my mentors said something once that's been top of mind for me this week. He said, when our ability to cleanly measure is imprecise, well, humans will fill the gap, for better or worse, with narrative, a story. In other words, we will often fit data and information into a story in our heads rather than the other way around. Anybody who's used Google Analytics to tell their marketing story, yeah, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But over the last few weeks, there have been a few new research studies, including our own here at Content Marketing Institute, that speak to the idea of the impact that AI is having on the career opportunities, both current and future, of marketers. Let's just say, yeah, there's a lot of amazing stories out there, but the reality is, well, probably a bit more boring. Our industry's really changing to meet these new ideas? I mean, what do stats like 72% of industry leaders say they need to reshape the talents and skills of their organization? What does that really mean? I mean, if you really pull that back, is that anything new, disruptive? And the question I always like to ask is, what's the story with the inverse? What are the 28% of industry leaders that don't feel like they need to reshape the talents and skills of their organizations doing? I mean, what are they thinking? Are they thinking, things are great the way they are, we'll never change? Or are they just going, meh, we're pretty happy with the team the way it is at the moment? When it comes to AI and marketing and our jobs, our careers as marketers, well, is the sky falling or is it, Friday? You want to hear some more stories about AI and marketing in your career? Yeah, let's open up our storybooks a bit, dive into the data, and spin some of our own yarns. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with What's New in Marketing. It is about what's new in marketing, but most importantly, it's something important in marketing that we think may help you become a better leader. And if we can help you or your team with content marketing services, and that includes custom training or consultation or ongoing implementation of your content marketing approach, come on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com, fill out that form, and let us know, right? Let's have a talk about it. So there's this cognitive bias that fascinates me, and it's known as the frequency illusion. It's also known as the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, and it's basically where you notice a specific word or a concept or a thing more frequently after you've been made aware of it or focus on it for some time. The classic is when you're going to go buy a new car, right? You start looking at specific models, pricing them, choosing one, picking out your favorite color, driving one around, and all of a sudden the world is filled with exactly that car, usually, by the way, in your favorite color. Anyway, perhaps it comes on the week that we release our career outlook research for content and marketing professionals, but the world seems like it's chock-a-block right now with research and data about how AI is now and in the future going to have an impact on the careers of marketers and content creators. And well, to say it's decidedly a mixed bag, that would be understating it. I mean, it's just honestly all so confusing right now. I mean, what's going to happen? So if you want to stop the video here, by the way, the real answer, the spoiler alert here is nobody knows. I mean, to paraphrase one of my writer heroes, William Goldman, writer of The Princess Bride, when talking about movie executives, and basically he said, not one person in our entire industry knows for certain that's going to work or how it's all going to turn out. Every single time it's a guess. And if you're lucky, it's an educated one. But okay. In our outlook, our research, one of the things that we found at CMI was that AI didn't even make the list on where marketers were going to expand their spending in the coming year. However, 57% of the marketers in our research named it as the number one thing that will have the biggest impact. What's going on there? Additionally, there's this feeling of pressure for marketers to quote unquote get good at generative AI and quickly, and it's primarily being driven from the C-suite down into the marketing practitioner base. That's what's going on there. I mean, is it any wonder if you read some of the other research out there, the headlines are filled with, it's all changing so fast, it's making our heads spin. There was a recent study by Deloitte that found that 79% of C-suite respondents expect Gen AI to drive substantial organizational transformation in less than 3 years. And even more recently, Kantar released research where they said AI is already having an impact in the media industry, with almost half of their respondents, quote, already seeing an impact on their organization. All right, but what does that mean? An impact on the organization? I mean, is it meteoric impact or is it drop in the bucket impact? And doesn't it mean that more than half, by the way, aren't seeing an impact on their organization? And to continue that train of thought, In the Kantar study, experience in AI, it was dead last in terms of the top 10 most important skills that leaders in the media industry wanted in the next 3 years. Only 27% found it was a very important skill. Additionally, Gartner has researched and looked at more than 300,000 job postings and found that fewer than 1% mentioned skills with Gen AI or responsibilities with AI for content creation as part of the job or a requirement for the job. So, what's the real story here? Well, after you read all this research, you might come away feeling confused about what's really going on. You'd be right, of course, because the numbers are confusing. What all of them seem to be saying is that there's a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the most appropriate uses of AI and what's going on and how people, mostly senior leaders at companies, think that they're going to be a lot more behind than they actually are at the moment. The marketing media seem to be playing a bit on talking about the way that AI is going to fundamentally disrupt the marketing organization, and that leaders are all, and this is a paraphrase, so many of them say something to the effect of, "We're deeply convinced that our organization will be disrupted, upended, torn apart, made exponentially more efficient, innovate like never before, double in creativity, halve in size, ultimately evolve marketing to be completely automated, in the next 3 or 50 years." Yeah, it's all as clear as mud. Here's what I think we do know as we round the bend and head toward the fourth quarter of 2024 and the planning season for 2025. One, businesses are taking a considered approach to this whole enterprise AI thing. Most don't really know what to do with it or whether it's going to work out or not. Many are talking a big game, but privately, they're seeing how it's all going to shake out. Two, marketing practitioners and content creators are worried, but perhaps a little less worried than even a year ago at this time. Most businesses that are integrating AI seem to be avoiding the whole bumper sticker advice of AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. Rather, they seem to be saying this is a core technology, not unlike computing, and we'd rather invest in the people that we have to understand and get proficient with it rather than replace those people with people who already understand it. Said more simply, when it comes to marketing, they're hiring smart strategists, storytellers, innovative, creative people, and teaching them AI rather than hiring AI specialists and trying to teach them how to be strategists or storytellers. And three, AI is changing every single day. And in fact, it's almost changing too fast for its own good. One of the biggest challenges of the early days of the internet was how quickly the technology and skill sets needed to thrive were changing. Many people started to figure out that becoming a generalist and knowing a little bit about a lot was much better than trying to know a lot about a little bit. You never know when that little bit, it'll be outdated tomorrow. And your investment of time in knowing that little bit and being deep in that little bit, it'll be ruined. Remember, though, the net result of that historically was that many businesses over-purchased technology, way over-indexed on the complex technology that they would never know how to derive value out of. And one of the biggest reasons for the dot-com bubble and the subsequent pop of that bubble was how quickly the fast-expanding technology stars of that era realized that what they were building was nothing more than a lot of hot vaporware that amounted to not a lot of business value. Now, whether we're in for an AI bubble or a crash, that's not certain. But as it pertains to our careers, our skills, and how we utilize this technology, my advice, pump the brakes, learn as you can, and just keep your spidey sense up. Don't move so fast that you lose all sense of your peripheral vision. As you look at all these AI tools and all the research, you'll start to see it everywhere. You'll start to see the opportunities everywhere. But remember the frequency bias. Not everything is a problem that has to be solved with AI, and certainly not everything is a problem that has to be solved with the hottest technology in the last few decades. Take the time to really look at that information and what's going on behind the stories. When the data show that AI is dead last, but that 80% of organizations appreciate communication skills and storytelling, that tells you something, that it's important to listen and watch and ask the right questions. And that is its own story behind the data, because it gets to, I might be wrong too. I might be wrong here. I might be putting the information and telling a story. But for now, it's my story. That's a few minutes of what's new in marketing. And remember, it's your story. Read the room carefully and then make it yours to tell well. I'll see you next week.